Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. What you're about to watch is both the most comprehensive and best Korg Electribe Sampler video online, and also the worst. As you'll see, I uncover and demonstrate like a huge amount of technique. The music, it's okay. It's not like I was really focusing on the music as much as I was focusing on the techniques and trying to teach you guys some things. And I was also building a really comprehensive sample pack. The samples are in the description. You can go to the link and you can purchase them for a very nominal price. But what you'll find is that there is no all sample file or all pattern file. And the reason why is because after working for a couple of hours, the machine froze up on me. And you'll see that in the video as well. In retrospect, I think in order to, all of these techniques are good. I didn't do anything to make the unit freeze up on me, right, to crash. It just happened. And with the ES2, it just hasn't happened that often. There's some noise in the background, sorry. The thing is as you work with the ES2, there are problems. People have discovered problems with export all samples, which you have to do every time you turn the machine off or you lose all your saved work. The thing about that is that it's always an issue of a card problem, like compatibility problem with a card, or using 24-bit samples, right? But this time it was not. I didn't load any samples up from the card. I guess I did earlier in the thing, but they had sampled, or excuse me, had exported since then, so whatever. I didn't even cover half of what I wanted to show you. What I was building was a master class for the ES2 that I was going to offer I was going to offer the class and this huge comprehensive pack of samples for like 35 bucks or something like that. Hours and hours of techniques that nobody has seen before, all right? And I didn't cover what I wanted to cover, but the crash halted the work. I feel like if I wanted to do this again, I could do it again, but I'd have to, every time I exported all samples, I would have to drag them over to the computer and save them in increments to make sure that I didn't lose my work. I know that if it had exported correctly, that a crash during performance, right, on stage or in the studio or otherwise, like, it's just not going to happen. I know that it's not. It's a pretty stable machine in that regard. The whole idea of doing this was to fund some of the newer Roland groove boxes, right? I want to try out an MC707 really badly. There's the other one, what's it called? The SH. I can't remember. It's a new groove box, months old. I really would like to try those out. Yeah. I think maybe that new Roland groove box with the paired with SP404 Mark II. Oh man, maybe that would be the most amazing performance paradigm ever. Anyway, I digress. Check out this video, learn some new techniques, and go to the link to buy a pack of samples only, or just hit me up at at SnowMetal University at gmail.com and say hi, and I'll send you some free resources. Love you guys. As many of you know, I've been pretty clear about the idea that I like to prepare my hardware with software and that I use Ableton Live, so we're going to start with that. Here I'm going to get rid of everything but one MIDI channel. Now we know that in the Electribe Sampler we have 16 MIDI channels as indicated by these pads. Now as you can hear, there are birds and shows and kids and family in the background. That's just how it's going to be. What I want to do is I want to fill my template. I want to create a template in Ableton Live that allows me to work in Ableton as if I'm recording or smashing ideas down in software, but then I want to be able to transfer them easily to the ES2. So there's a few things that need to be taken care of. First thing is that in the ES2 I've loaded up one sample pack, which only has 2 samples in it. It's got drums 1 and drums 2, and they're sliced. So drums 1 is mostly kicks and snares. Drums 2 is a bunch of effects and a bunch of hi-hats and things like that. So it's kind of, there's nothing else in here. That leaves me with a huge amount of sampling time, okay? In Ableton Live, since I have 16 channels in the ES2, I want to put together 16 channels in the software. The thing about it is, in Ableton you have audio tracks and MIDI tracks. That's not going to be a thing because over here it's a sampler, so all of them are audio tracks for one thing, and number 2, they're all MIDI tracks. So I'm going to fill them up with MIDI. In the software, what I want to do to build this template is I want to go to the instruments and I want to grab an external instrument, okay, which allows me to send note information to my interface. So down here, MIDI 2, I'm going to choose my interface. You would choose yours, channel 1, that's fine. And then I'm going to select this and use Control-G or Command-G on a Mac to group it. And that way, when I open this guy up, I can fill this rack with, not only will it send the note information to my hardware through my interface, but it will also allow me to basically work just like this is a MIDI channel with our plugin channel in Ableton Live. So I can build a huge track here or set or whatever, and then worry about transferring it later. So this is just a template for that purpose. So I've got this guy here, that's channel 1. I'm going to select the track up here and Control-D or Command-D to duplicate. I'm going to change this guy to channel number 2 and then duplicate and so on until I got 16. I'll be right back. Okay, so here I have built 16 channels. They're all MIDI tracks. They all have, each one has the corresponding channel sent to my MIDI interface. Now, at this point, you could save this as a template for, call it your ES2 template, etc., etc. But I'm going to take it a little further because the way I have things here, when I set up my stuff, is I like the first 4 tracks 1 through 4 here to be bass, tracks 5 through 8 here to be synth, tracks 6 through 12, or excuse me, 9 through 12 here to be kicks and snares generally, and then the last to be hi-hats or miscellaneous vocal samples, whatever. Here's the thing is that what I like to do often when I'm using software and transferring things over is I only like to use the first 2 pads in each category, and that leaves the last pads for basically full clips, and I'll explain that in a second. So what I'm going to do over here in the software is I'm going to choose the first 4, which I will call the bass, and I'll call them green, and then the next 4, those are the synths, those will be pink. The next 4, let's see, we'll make those ones blue, and then yellow for the last ones are fine. So if I grab these first ones here and I Control-G and group that entire thing, Control-R or Command-R, I'll call this bass to rename. Command-R is rename. The next Command-R, oh actually we'll, excuse me, select all of these and group those, and we'll call that synth. And the next ones, group, and we'll say kick, snare, and then the last ones, group, and we'll just call that misc hats. Okay, so this is how I would save my template so that each section is easily accessible. Okay, now let's get some music going. Right now I'm in 132 BPMs. If you look over here, the channel I have selected to do this is at 66. So I'm going to change this to 66, but for the sake of writing, I'm going to keep it in 132. I'm going to pull over here. I'm going to pull this MIDI channel out, or a MIDI cable out of the ES2, so that while I'm writing, I'm not hearing a bunch of stuff from the hardware unit. Okay, So now, the way I have these all set up is each one, as I explained, when you go to the rack, you can add your plugins. So let's start with maybe some operator, and let's listen. And I'm not hearing anything. How come? Oh, I see. I forgot to hook up the audio. Oh, no big deal. I know you guys can hear my microphone because I got it plugged directly into my recorder. So, oh, there we go. The bass. Bass. Quiet here. Okay. Let's put some kicks and snares in here real quick. Boom. And go to samples. That's pretty nifty. Had that one open already. Okay. Oops. Do some snares. Put some hi-hats in there so we can get rid of that annoying click track. In fact, let's just do it now. Open. Okay. See if I can doctor this up a tad. Yeah. All right, that'll do. Let's do some bass. And I know this is a slow start. plugins. Let's go to Vital. Ooh, heavy. Oh, I got some crazy Reese's in here. Let's grab one of those. Brassy, maybe? I think I like that one. Synth. Also Vital, maybe? Oh, let's find some leads. Okay, let's grab another. Let's grab some reactor. Oops. Let's go to carbon. No. Don't like it. Let's switch it out for alchemy. Woohoo! This is the old Camel Audio Alchemy. And it's beautiful. Now, if you notice over here, I got 66 BPMs, and over here I got 132, right? What I'm going to do is change this to 66, and the reason why I do that is to make it appear like it has 8 bars, okay? It just stretches out the bars to half their speed, so they're twice the length, right? And that's a good way of getting more length out of your 4-bar limitation in the ES2. In live, obviously, this is going to slow everything down to half speed. Listen. But not to worry, because what I can do is go to each clip, and I can go to this little launch parameter here. Oh, excuse me, right over here in the notes. And I can make it faster by dividing it by 2. I can do that to each one. and that makes it back to normal. Looks like all these were off a little bit, no big deal. Okay, so now I want to put these in here, okay? So now with the MIDI cable completely unplugged, so I'm not getting any note information, I'm going to grab each one of these stems. The first thing I'm going to grab is the beat, okay? Now, I'm going to get, I'm not going to record the hi-hats as a stem. I'm only going to record the kick and the snare. That's because I've got amazing hi-hats in here already, and even kicks and snares. I'm going to grab this because I feel like it's a good thing for me to do. I'm also going to add a bit of limiter on the kick and snare track here, so I can. Don't want it to clip. Okay, over here, shift. Okay, there's a couple of things you need to do. To get the note information, for instance, you want to go to your global parameter, and when you go to the MIDI receive filter, you want to make sure that that's off, so you're getting all your note information, okay? Shift and record. These are drums, so I'm going to record them in mono, okay? Now, when I start recording, okay, I'm going to basically hit the record here, and there's going to be a little bit of time before that first kick drum comes in, and then I'm going to watch the loop over here, and as soon as it swings back around and it starts with a kick drum again, I'm going to record just a tiny bit of that next loop of the kick drum of the following loop, just so I know exactly where to trim it. I'll explain that in a moment. Okay, so it's going. Okay, listen. Okay, right there, I grabbed the following kick drum just so I know where to trim it. I'll show you what that means in a little bit. Right now. Okay, next, let's stop the kicks and snares and let's open up the synths. Okay, let's listen to this real quick. When you hear that first note. Okay, and right here, it's almost done. And it starts again. We're going to get both of those notes. Okay, let this fade out a little. Okay. This time, because it's synth information, I'm going to record it in stereo. All right. Okay, write that. Shut the synths down. Okay. I'll put a limiter on that guy too. Just to raise the volume a bit. Okay. You know what? Those Reeses require a wide stereo field, so I'm going to record these in stereo as well. Coming around. Okay, got just the beginning of the following loop. Okay, and again. Okay, now, next thing we're going to do. we're going to go in here and record all the note information, okay? So I need to, first off is over here in live, is I need to fire all these off. Okay. When I plug this in, it's going to basically make all of these fire off. Listen. Okay, and that's kind of annoying. I'm just going to turn the volume down or something. Yeah. Okay, let's turn the, I don't want to turn the volume down. I'm going to, I think I'm going to turn each one of these parts down. Oops, let's actually I'll turn the volume down over here in live. Okay, you can see it's coming. And I'm going to keep that metronome going so I know when it rolls around, okay? All I need to do over here, as long as I don't have a count in, okay? If I go to global parameter, if you go to metronome, which is, let's see, metronome off, okay? That way, arm this for record, and as soon as I hit play on live, it'll start recording MIDI notes. Okay. Okay, now I've got all that MIDI information, okay, and it's being stored here. So let's go to the first part. Actually, let's go to the kick and the snare. Okay, so this is going to be a kick drum. I'm going to turn that up. Okay, and I'm going to go in my oscillators, and I'm going to go to drums 1. Okay, next one. Whoops. I must have triggered something on accident, but let's listen to this. Okay, hi-hats. Let's do, pretty tinny, huh? Okay, let's go to the bass. Now all that's using is my is the internal. All that's using is the internal synth engine. amazing is that's really rough, okay? But what I did is I got all the note information, okay? So that's good. I think the next thing I'm going to do is grab some samples. Now, in my recent ESX video, I showed you like how you could grab samples from your folder or grab samples from previous ESX project files, and you can audition them. Unfortunately, in here you can't, okay? It's kind of whack, but what you can do is if you go to, you know what, I don't like poly on any of these, okay? So that actually is probably part of the mud. I like mono 1 on everything, and I know that there are some people who definitely want to use chords and stuff for their Detroit techno. That's amazing, do your thing, but this is just me. What we want to do here is data utility, I think, and you want to import pattern, or no, excuse me, import sample. So we're going to go in here. Obviously, like I already explained, there's no way there's no way to audition samples, which is terrible, okay? But you have these folders. If you're watching this, that means you're part of the Masterclass. You have these folders. So we're going to go into mono wave files and go to synths, and we're just going to start loading some stuff. How about 10? And we'll put that on. I'm going to find an empty. It doesn't automatically give you an empty destination either, which is also very much like unlike the ESX. One more. Let's get one towards the end. Okay. Now, if we go back to our pattern, let's mute. Well, let's go to trigger, and let's go into the oscillators. And listen to some of these. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Turn the pitch down. So now we've replaced some of these. Some of the stock oscillators with some samples, okay? Does it sound good? Not so much. In fact, this guy here I think sounds better if it's that original saw. Okay, let's mute everything that we've put in so far. Okay, and now these guys here, let's go into the sample edit, and let's go to the first ones that we recorded. I think this is the bass. Oh no, that is the kick and snare. So we will call it rename, enter. We'll just call it, oops.
There's a song stuck in my head for My Little Pony.
Oh, well, that's good to have songs stuck in the head. You can come in here and do whatever, but you have to be quiet while I record, okay? Okay. What good kids I have. Oh my gosh. Kick snare. Ooh. Okay. And we'll write that thing. Now here's what we're going to do is we got to trim these things up. Okay, so let's go to the, okay, here's a trick that I have learned to make this a little faster and more precise. 1, loop start point. No, first sample tune. We're going to tune it way down. Okay, now listen. Okay, you hear that? It's because I want to be able to dial in the start point faster. Okay, so the start point is dialed in. Loop sample tune is at 6 out of 10, by the way. And now we'll tune it way up. Okay, and the reason why is because we have no way of skipping forward like we do on the ESX to the last hit to just like narrowly whittle it down. We have to hear the whole sample, and it's better when it's tuned up because it's faster. Listen. You know what I want to do? So I'm going to turn it up. That last kick drum's got to go. So I want to hear it so I can barely hear it. Hear that blip at the end? Listen. Okay, so now I'm going to slowly whittle it down. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's go back to 6 and let's listen. Okay, and we'll write it. Next one. Synths. Let's make it louder. Let's go to the sample tune. Let's go to the start point. Okay. Okay. I want to hear just a tiny bit of that last note that I want to cut off. Okay. Okay, I think that's about it. Let's listen. There is a tiny bit of it left. The thing is, I'm going to write it. That makes no difference because, and I'm not going to take the time to rename this one either, just because I want to make this move faster. Okay, bass. A little louder. Okay, hear that. Okay. Okay. Oh, actually, I want to tune that back to 0 and write it. Okay, I'll take this time to go to Data Utility and export all samples. We want to make sure that our samples are going to save correctly before we invest too much time into them. Now, in our pattern, okay, I'm going to put the stereo bass sample here on these two. So we can go to here and I think it's this one. It's turned all the way down, okay? Now, notice I tap it once and the whole thing plays, okay? The interesting thing about that is that if I, oh boy. Okay, if I want this to stop, let me show you a little trick, okay? And it took me a long time to figure this out. This isn't in the manual. I've never heard anyone talk about this before, okay? If I get, let's turn the metronome back on. Actually, we don't even have to. The beautiful thing about the ES2 compared to the ESX is that if I arm record and I tap it, it starts recording. So listen. I can turn it off because it continues to play. Okay, perfectly looped because it's the same tempo. Okay, let's you know what? That's too tinny. great, and this is a good way to work, except for when I stop it, this sample continues to play. Okay, so what you can do to stop that from happening is you go into sample menu, okay, sample edit, and we'll go, I think it was that one, okay? And what you want to do is you go over to loop, where it says loop start point, and you turn it all the way down to nothing, and you just turn 1, the tiny, it loops 1 sample at the end. You will not even hear it, okay, right? But when you go back, okay, now I have to re-record this part because triggering it once isn't enough. You have to hold it down, okay? Now watch the difference here. Just extending it out. Okay. Ah, that thing kind of messed it up. Let's clear it. Oops. Now when I stop it, it doesn't continue to play. Okay, so over here, let's put the synth sample here. Let's turn that up. And is it this one? Yes, it is. Okay, but once again, let's go into sample, edit, and let's go over to loop start point, take it all the way down to nothing. Okay. In fact, let's do that with the drums too. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, let's mute these guys and let's go here and let's put the kick and snare. Ooh. Okay. Okay, I apologize for however long that's been clipping. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the entire presentation. Let's mess with a little bit of mixing. Okay, we'll start with put it at 100. pretty much what we made in live. Let's mix in some of the other elements. This guy here. I think I'm going to clear that sequence and write that piece. Let's go into the data utility and let's export all patterns. Okay, just so we don't want to lose any of our work. In fact, we made edits to the samples. Let's export all samples again. All right. Okay, we're going to move into part 2. I think I'm going to render this video and edit it and make sure that it's even worth watching, and then we'll get into the next part. Yeah, I hope you guys are getting something out of this. Okay, so here we are. This is what we have so far. Okay, it's a little muddy. We're definitely going to need to clean some things up. There's a couple of things I want to do, a few things I want to show you, right? So one thing, we're going to make another copy of this. And I think we're going to mute a lot of this stuff. And Let's just have the beat going for a moment. Okay, and we've got this guy here. Now, we remember that there's ways that we can augment things. This is a new copy, so we're going to be changing some things. Let's make this one reverse. Let's listen. You know what? Actually, that bass line in reverse. Oh, it sounds beautiful. This guy here we have in reverse. Let's put it. I'm going to trigger some of this, and I'm going to play with the sample start position. Okay. First, I'm just going to trigger a few of these things. Is it muted? Whoops. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to redo this, I think. No problem. Okay. Okay, as you can see, I did the triggering first, and then I messed with the sample start position after the fact, so I could not have to do two things at once. Let's unmute that reversed bass line, and let's listen to that. Beautiful. Let's write this right now just so we don't lose anything. Let's change the voice on that. Sounds like a pluck. Just add some motion sequence to the master effects. Let's add some 3/16 delay. Let's write that. Always causes it to skip a little. All right. As you can see on the Ableton Live side, I've thrown together a brand new, well, I've opened up a new project. Let's go to 66 BPMs, which matches our project. I want to show you something that I've shown before in earlier videos, but a lot of people didn't really pay a lot of attention. We're going to use, since the Korg ES2 doesn't have a good arpeggiator, we're going to take advantage of Ableton's arpeggiator. And I want to show you something that is not covered in the manual, that has really no documentation whatsoever. In fact, I'm not even certain that the Korg designers of this product even knows that it exists. Okay, so over here in plugins, I'm going to grab this copy of Alchemy. It is the following morning after I made yesterday's video, and my family are here, and you know, there's going to be a little noise, but yeah, I love them. They're so good. Over here, we're going to go to leads, and oh, well, let's put some arpeggiation in here. Let's go to MIDI effects and throw down an arpeggiator. And I know that our project in the ES2 is in D minor, but we're going to do the arpeggiator. We're going to record an arpeggiation and sample it in C. Okay, and that's going to make sense in a moment. Obviously, as is, it's not going to fit your project, but I'm going to show you how when you record an arpeggiation in C, you can make it fit to any project. Okay, now let's listen. All right. Ooh, I love Alchemy. It's so beautiful. There you go, the old standby. Nice. This is clipping over here, which is unusual. In fact, I'm going to turn that back up here and turn it down here. Just searching for a good... You know what? I'm just going to put the arpeggio in, and we'll deal with it in a second. We're going to record a very short arpeggiation. Okay, let's add a couple of steps and change it to 16th notes, because at 66 BPMs, that's more of an eighth note. Listen. Sounds good. Whoops. Okay, good. I'm gonna mess with these notes, and well, actually they're pretty good. I'll stretch this one out a little. Stretch them all out. Oh, let's just listen. Let's use an oblique strategy of honoring your mistake as a hidden intention. Beautiful. Let's find a good sound. Actually, that sounds beautiful. Okay, over here we can let that die down a little. Shift and record. We're going to do this in mono. Yep. And let's get a piece of it. Wait for it to roll around. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to do it again because I want to be more precise. I just want the first note once it rolls around so I know where to trim it off. Let's listen again. Okay. Okay, let's write that. Let's go into sample edit. Let's make it louder. Yep, very good. Let's go to the start point. Too much. Good. Tune it back to 0. Boom. Let's try. Pretty good. I'm just going to write it. I'm not even going to dial that one in. And then I'm going to go to slice, and I'm going to time slice this. So it's only 16 out of 16. It's 1 bar. We already know that. Now, with the ESX, I'd be able to actually resample that while playing, which is awesome, but not so in the ES2, unfortunately. Okay, let's go back to our pattern. And I think I'm going to put that sample here. Now, just to show you that it doesn't fit because it's in C minor, I'm going to go ahead and go to gate arp. Actually, this gate arp, you can, by holding shift and gate arp, you can change the different gate arp patterns. As it stands, this is what it's going to sound like. Hold on. Trigger. Oh, I have to assign the sample. Okay. Okay, see, as you can see by the pattern, it's not a good solid stutter. But if you go back to 1, it's just 1 note. 16th notes. Okay, perfect. Now let's record it in there, and then we'll have to delete it, but I want to. Oh, there's something loud in the background. Okay, let's listen. Yeah, recording 4 bars of it. Okay, now listen as I bring in the drums. Sounds good, but with the synth, it's off, right? Because it's not in the right key. But here's what you can do. Let's go to this arp that we just put in. Let's clear the sequence, and this time with the gate arp, instead of using trigger, we'll use the keyboard mode, and that arpeggio or any sample will conform to the overall scale of the project, which is D Aeolian or D minor. Okay, so we have it in keyboard. So instead of with the trigger, instead of sounding like this, with the C, we're going to get a keyboard and it will sound like this. D. Okay, and let's do it again. As you can hear, they sound amazing together now. Okay, here's another thing. Let's pull in the bass. Okay, that's nasty. All right, now, concerning the arp, I'll bring up drums too, just so we can. Okay, here's another thing that we can do. Using the same gate arp technique or even single notes, we can add variations using the keyboard because it was recorded in C and the project is in D minor. So all of these notes are conforming to that scale. Let me show you what I mean. But we'll do a little of that. Okay, now that sounds a little weird because the timing kind of affects the scale kind of affects the timing of each note. But what we can do now is we'll turn on the amp envelope generator and we'll turn down the. Okay, let's add some delay to this guy too. Let's turn on the filter. All right. Ooh, so nasty. Let's do some motion sequence. Turn down the resonance a tad. Turn up the volume. Let's mess with the decay and the release. Let's change this delay to a talk filter. Radio EQ. Write this to the third one. And let's erase the effects motion, okay, which is Shift, Master Effects, and then just scoot over to clear the effects motion. And let's mess with this a little bit. Change it to Looper. Oh, I messed up. Anyway, okay, we're getting somewhere. Doing some pretty incredible stuff here, and the music still needs some thinning out. Let's just listen to these. We'll start from the top here. Get rid of all these. Remember, we have some motion effects here, so if I change these, it changes it in a way that I'm not expecting. lot of people don't know this. If you touch mute twice, it gets to blinking. That's solo. All right? To bring everything back in and unmute everything at once is shift and mute. All right, I think that's enough for this next little section, and I'm going to come back in a few moments with the next steps. All right, so after that last video, you can see that as I was trying to export all samples to save everything, it is frozen at 97%. This is usually happening when you try to load 24-bit samples or you're using a bad card, but this is a card that I use often so that I know that it's compatible, and we didn't load any samples using the card or via software. We sampled only through the internal audio input, so I'm not exactly sure what this is all about, but everything that we just did is going to have to be redone, etc. And I suggest maybe as soon as you write samples, before you even edit them, export all samples, right? Because who knows when this can happen. Yeah, I just pulled the plug and had to pull out one of the batteries to make this turn itself off. Let's see if it actually loads up fine before we go any further. Warning, battery low. Oh, I forgot to plug it back in. Haha. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh no. Wow. Hold on. Power off. With the card in place. No samples. Everything has been erased.